What up, y'all? On this episode, we got the homie Rick, aka Enks, and the homie George, aka World Peace. Two talented individuals. The homie Rick is an artist. He's a street artist, a tattoo artist, a body painter, among other things. The homie George is a badass DJ. World Peace is his DJ name. Right? I'm sure you've seen him around, both of them. But of course, like every other episode, we never just talk about what they're known for. We talk about anything and everything. And this episode is just like that. We go into everything. We talk about their backgrounds, how they became friends. They've only been friends for a little bit. When they met, they hit it off, and they're like brothers now. So they tell us about that. Enks tells us about growing up in Juarez. He was born in El Paso, raised in Juarez. George shares several childhood stories. We hear about George's recent travels to Mexico, to Cancun and Acapulco. Enks tells us about the time he competed and won a popular reality show that was also a body paint competition called Skin Wars. He actually won that shit, and he talks about all the crazy things that happened after that. He won $100,000. He got to travel the world. He tells us about the time he was partying with RuPaul and talking about Kurt Cobain with RuPaul. All kinds of crazy shit. We answer some Facebook questions, things like that, and much, much more. All right. Big shout out to all the listeners. Much love and thanks to the listeners. Keep spreading the word. Keep sharing my posts. And please, please, please keep sending me feedback, whether it's a comment, whether it's in my inbox, whether it's a text message. Keep sending me feedback, guys. I love hearing the feedback. I love sharing the feedback with others as well. I just like reading it and hearing it. But it's also a cool way to promote the show as well. So I do appreciate anybody that's ever sent me feedback in the past. All right. I hope you enjoy the show.
Sweet Jesus Radio.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Sweet Jesus Radio. I'm your host, Sweet Jesus. My guests tonight, we got two very talented individuals. We were just, I ran into them at a club bar one night, somewhat recently, and we're like, you know what? We need to do a fucking episode about you guys. The gentleman in front of me to my left, super sick, dope-ass artists. I know you've heard of them once you hear the name. Got the homie to the right, dope-ass DJ, socialite.
Socialite.
You've seen him everywhere. He's always traveling. We got the homie Enks and Georgie, a.k.a. World Peace. What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
Oh, yeah, hi. You guys can hear me on the headphones, right?
Yes, we can.
Hell yeah. All right. So again, man, like we said, we're just we're just fucking around at the bars. We said we gotta do an episode, have some fucking fun. So we're gonna keep it real hang loose for the listeners. This is just one we're doing for fun. But of course, these gentlemen have pretty eventful lifestyles. So it's gonna be a good one, I think. So we'll start with let me see, check my notes since my laptop isn't up. But the one thing I noticed, man, because I've known George for a little bit. I met you somewhat recently, but of course I've seen you around. But I started seeing pictures pop up of you guys. How long have you guys been friends, or what happened, man? Just kind of give me the background of y'all's friendship, because you guys seem really tight and shit. You know what I mean? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Skyler.
Yeah, we haven't really known each other from not even more for the year. It's been about
okay.
like
It's one of those.
Yeah, it's about
March.
March.
Yeah.
What's
So-
today?
October or something?
What year is it?
26.
All
So-
right.
What year is it? Where am I? Why am I tied up? Yeah, so it seems like one of those. I had a similar friendship. My homie Serge, rest in peace. People thought we were friends for fucking years, but I knew him for like a year maybe. You know what I'm saying? But we just hit it off right away. Is that the case with you guys?
Yeah,
You
that's
just kinda hit it off?
that's what happened. Is that these guys were doing a project at Faded Barber. They were painting the patio, and I went to hang out with Adrian. I knew Adrian.
So tell me who these guys are first,
Well,
and tell me
these
what
guys.
Faded Bar is.
Well,
Also,
it was Faded Barber. It's owned by Mike Armstrong.
it's a bar, right?
Yeah.
Just for the listeners, so
And,
we know what the fuck we're talking about and shit.
my boys, which are my brothers now, it's Los Visionaries.
Oh yeah.
And the day that I met them, I didn't think I was ever gonna be a visionary. I didn't even
Holy
know what a
shit.
visionary
Yeah.
was.
What's a
What is a visionary?
Visionary is just pretty much someone that is lost but found,
Oh shit.
you know? And it just takes another visionary to realize that you're a visionary, you know? Pretty
Yeah.
much
It's only the visionaries can recognize other visionaries.
pretty much inspired each other,
Sound like the X-Men, bro.
right?
Holy shit.
Well,
Alright.
to make a long story short, these guys.
No,
were
we like
painting
long
a
stories
patio.
here.
Yeah, long story. To make a long story longer,
Yeah.
these guys were painting, and we were just talking about like their art, and then they found out I was a DJ, and they said, "Why don't you come tomorrow and bring your music?" So the next day I went, and I think we started like at 8,
Yeah.
and these guys had already like almost finished painting, and I started playing, and I believe they covered everything they had painted and just started painting again.
Oh, what? The fuck?
And I think that first night I went from 8 to like 3 in the morning,
What the fuck?
and they said, "Come back tomorrow." So I was there the next day at like 9, ready to go, and these guys were ready to go with their paint. And
Did I?
since that day, we talked to each other every day. We're brothers. It was like
It was meant to be.
it was like I've known Enks forever in a weird way.
Hell yeah. No, yeah, I've been there, man. Like I said with my boy Serge.
We
and
just
shit.
clicked. We just clicked.
Yeah, it just
you know?
clicks.
Just
Yeah,
click.
fuck yeah.
You can't make it up. You can't fake the
Yeah,
funk.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah. When's the wedding?
Well, no wedding plan.
Yeah. You haven't, obviously, you haven't, you know, I
We,
fucking
we
jumped
might
around on the
we might
episode.
we might do it for tax purposes later on. No.
Cool, man. So that's the one thing I did want to kind of go into, just because we even talked about it, like we have mutual friends from like high school shit.
Oh my
Me,
God,
talk
yeah.
about the homie, you know, I was looking into some of, because I don't, you know, of course I've seen Enks all over the place, but I don't know him well. But can we go into, man, can you tell us a little bit about your background, bro, just in general, so the listeners can get to know you a little bit. Just
Yeah, for sure.
where you grew up, how it was growing up. Leave out no details. Give us the long answer.
All right. Yeah. Well, I was born in El Paso. I was raised in Ciudad Juarez,
Hell yeah.
and then from there I kind of got a lot of inspiration from a lot of artists, street artists, more than anything. You know, graffiti artists was my first medium that I got to mess with and
Dope.
and get inspired by it. And from there it kind of triggered a whole different movement. So from that I got to paint a lot of murals around Mexico, around Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Delicias. Just jumped around, met a lot of people. I got into my tattoo career about 10 years ago, and I've been tattooing ever since then.
Hell
I
yeah.
got into body painting, and that's what kind of changed my life, you know. Body painting took me
Yeah.
to a whole different...
We'll get into that shit too. I definitely want to talk about that, man.
But yeah, man, it's just long story.
How was that in Juarez, though?
Juarez
growing up?
is, I mean...
That shit's raw. I mean, I know, but I'm saying for the listeners, you know what I mean?
No, it's raw, man. It's very simple. It's very cutthroat, you know. You either got it or you don't.
Hell yeah.
And it's just more respect than anything, you know. That's something I learned as a kid, you know. Just respect everybody, and if they don't respect them, well, fuck them, you know.
Yeah.
But
I like that shit. Do you remember the first, like, real decent, big-size mural you did, whether legal or illegal?
yeah, I used to. The first mural that I did was with some friends in Juarez. They have a collective called Resiste.
Okay.
They used to have a
I've seen that.
panaderia Resiste,
Yeah.
and they would have a lot of local events. They would have MCs come by and break down their skills. They had lucha libre. They had street artists just
Shit.
come, and it was just a big jam, you know, of local artists.
A little
And
bit of everything, huh?
yeah,
What was the mural over what?
the mural was Greek god Zeus,
Oh, shit.
and I painted that. Yeah, within like 3 hours, man. It was fun. That was my first big, large scale
Yeah.
mural that I could actually remember, and came out like shit.
Oh, shit.
But I mean, it was the start to something, you know.
See, yeah. Those are the kind of details I want to, you know, talk about. Those, you know, it's like he's admitting, because you could have some asshole come out here and like, hey, I've always been perfect and shit's always been dope. It's like, came out like shit. So that's what, you know, I feel like the listeners like that shit. We get to know the real you, man. Was it aerosol? That was the
Yeah,
medium?
yeah. It was all spray paint.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like my favorite thing to work with. You know, spray paint is.
That street shit.
Yep.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. What about we'll get more into your shit later, man, but how about you, Georgie? AKA Georgie, World Peace. Give me some of your background, bro. Whatever's not gonna get you in trouble.
Well,
because I know we have mutual friends, man, but
when we talked that one time and we were just kind of talking about our
talking
background.
By coincidence.
I asked you if you knew some people that I knew from Bowie.
I went to Bowie High School, listeners.
And we were around the same year, right? Like, I believe.
Around, yeah. I'm fucking
And
94.
you were surprised that I knew all these people.
Yeah.
And I met these people actually. They used to do back in the day in the 90s. It was big to have like dance crews. And these guys from Bowie were like, they killed everybody. Like their dance crew was so good, and they practiced and what was it, Aztecas or what were they called or something?
The dance crew, Aztec Nation.
Aztec Nation or something like that.
Was fucking because
Eloy. I remember Eloy. Who else was in that stuff? Like,
or if they're listening, was fucking Bobby in that shit?
Bobby?
Fucking Cifuentes? I don't know. I'm gonna ask him. Who else was it? Because I didn't hang out with them, but I used to see them.
I mean, these guys used to perform in the
Yeah,
mall.
they would do
They would get hired.
Talent shows, too. They're at school and
they
that
were,
type of shit.
They were good. Back in the day, in the 90s, dance crews were cool.
Tell us about your shit, your background.
Well, my background is that I always have loved music. I've always been inspired by music. I grew up in an age where my parents had like a double deck stereo, the old school type, you know, and make mixtapes and all that. Like that doesn't exist no more.
Fuck no. You were like the man if you had one of those.
No, it was cool. And then we would trade a lot of music amongst friends. You know, it's like, oh, have you heard this? Have you heard that? And it was just, you can just dub tapes quick.
Where did you grow up, man? What side of town?
Well, I grew up on the east side, like by Eastwood.
Okay.
And then later, after my parents got divorced, we moved to Central.
Okay.
And I grew up, my parents were always very loose with my upbringing.
All right.
They taught me at a young age how to be independent. I was taking the bus by 6th grade.
Oh, for real?
And my bus pass and my skateboard, that was just my freedom in the summers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I didn't get in a lot of trouble, but I just tried to always adventure. You know?
I can tell. That explains a lot.
Yeah,
man.
and it was kind of like I give credit to my parents because they let me be, and I think it's because of where they were raised. They were raised in Juarez, and I was raised a little in Juarez because I was at my grandma's all the time in Bella Vista.
Yeah.
And the first time I got punched in the face was in Juarez.
Tell us that story, man.
I mean, I was only probably like 8, 9 years old.
Oh, you'd have an extra cig. You guys are smoking in front of me.
I'll light another one up.
Before we get into the fight story over here.
Well, I mean, it's just I learned that the world wasn't all peaches and cream, you know.
It's not. That's for damn sure.
I saw some stuff over there that I'd rather not even talk about, but it's stuff that impacted me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm glad that I went through that because I grew up in an area where it's very unique in the whole world because we were part of two cultures.
Yeah, that's very
true. A lot of the times it's a shock because you want to be American and you want to be Mexican and you want to be Chicano, and I never want to be Hispanic.
That's a weird word, man. If you look it up.
Fuck Hispanic, man. Fucking white people give us that fucking name.
Yeah, I've looked into that shit.
I'd rather be Chicano or fucking Mexican American or whatever. Not Hispanic. Fuck Hispanic.
And Latino is a weird word. Well, dictionary definition, if you look it up.
Where the fuck's Hispania? I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, it's like a made-up fucking like a category that they put people in and shit.
Yeah.
Tell us about the punch in the face, though, man.
Punch in the face was, I mean, we were playing basketball, and I think it was an older kid, and I think I fouled him a little hard, and he just turned around and freaking clocked me.
That happened to me, too.
And my eyes got all teary and everything. My cousin's like, Párese. Like, don't be a pussy.
Yeah.
And we kept playing basketball. And I went home thinking, wow, I got punched in the freaking face.
I was like, flashes? That fucking white shit?
No, I just felt my face is throbbing. Like it's the first time you get clocked in the face, but it set this tone of the way I was going to be my whole life. I was going to take shit from people. Yeah. I mean, this kid was an older bull in Juarez and whatever. And it kind of gave me a chip on my shoulder. And nobody fucked with me though. After
That's how you
like I
gotta
came
be,
to
man.
America and the kids weren't as
You started
grimy
punching
and
people in the
tough,
face.
and yeah, no, I
Just
never
kidding.
punched them, but I never let myself. And
Hell yeah,
you know.
hell yeah. Any other childhood stories that come to mind, Georgie?
Childhood stories. Well, it was always filled with the
how
'90s.
was-
The '90s was awesome.
the
'cause
90s was
we
wild,
we would
bro.
build ramps with like plywood and cinder blocks and
I've already said it a
and
million
do
times
like
on the
the
podcast.
dumbest
but
crap.
The-
Trying to just get in the air. You know what I mean? Get in the air with
A
your
little
skateboard.
ramp.
Get in the air with your BMX. Get in the freaking air.
Yeah,
you know?
fuck yeah. Fucking
And-
halfway kill yourself and shit. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Same here, man. I mean, I grew up in fucking like second ward and shit, so it's like just fucking putting a couple of boards together, making a little ramp and shit with the bike and shit. Hell yeah, man. So the other thing, before we go all deep into shit, just real quick, because you guys have, kind of unique, nicknames or stage names and shit. Where does Enks come from, man?
Enks came out from when I started tattooing. I was a tattoo plug in high school.
Oh, word? All right.
Yeah, I was 14 when I got my first tattoo machine, thanks to my dad. And then after that, they would just call me Ink.
Oh, okay.
It would INK. And then I remember I was at a party once, and some guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, you're that guy Ink?"
Right.
Yeah, what's up, man? Well, I'm the OG Ink. Oh shit.
Oh, shit.
My bad, dude. Shit, I didn't even know you existed. You know, so I mean, I'm not trying to step on your toes or nothing, you know. So right there and there, we just squashed it, and that's when I changed my
Changed
name
it a little
to ENKS.
Oh, shit.
Where is Ink now?
Ink, I don't know. He's probably working at some fast food
Big Eight.
restaurant.
Damn. I was going to say something. I was like, nah, I don't want Ink coming after me. But yeah, okay, Enks, that shit sounds dope, man.
Yeah, but it was not something that I actually decided for myself. You know, I feel like nicknames are something that someone else should
Yeah,
apply on you, you know,
Yeah.
rather than you trying to be this fucking
true.
superhero or some shit.
Simon. Yeah, no, fuck yeah, dude. I feel the same way. I hate my fucking. I have like a few nicknames, but they're all fucking dumb from the old school shit. But
I've heard some bad ones about you.
there's some bad ones out there, man, and they stick to some people, man. The fuck you fucking let people call you that shit, dog? God damn. How about world peace, man? What the fuck?
Where'd it come from?
That's like sort of new, no, or not?
Well, the thing was that when I started DJing, I picked a weird name. It was Georgie Valens. And
Holy
it was kind of
fuck.
corny. It was, and
Kinda.
then when actually World Peace, and it comes, I'm a Laker fan. I'm a Ron Artest fan.
That's what I was wondering.
And when he
that meta
changed
shit.
his name, I actually just changed my name on Facebook. I didn't change my DJ name or nothing.
Yeah.
But people were
It's
like,
stuck.
"You're World Peace. You're not fucking Georgie Valens. You're World Peace." And Che, I don't know if you know Che. He's a DJ. He's the one that told me, Miguel.
Maybe
He's
not.
part of Formosa Noise with Ryan.
No,
And
maybe.
Che told me, "You're World Peace. Drop
There you
that fucking Georgie Valens. You're World Peace."
is a
And
dope
I
name,
just,
though.
I became World Peace. A funny story about World Peace, and a lot of people, if they
Not
remember, it was the network. It was around, the year was 2013, I believe.
Yeah.
And we asked Frankie to make a flyer, where he was making the flyer for our show there, because me and Def Tech were playing Fridays, and then they put the flyer and they put World Peach.
We'll call him World Peach from now. We're gonna call
Yeah,
this episode
well,
World
a lot of my close friends, and they call me World Peach sometimes.
World Peach.
And what's funny is that this event page took off because people were laughing so hard about World Peach. There was so many comments, there was so many likes and laughs and blah. It just
And you know the fucking emoji, the peaches. For
yeah, no,
ass,
they
bro.
even did a meme like George and the giant peach and all this freaking like it was funny and it was cool because it took off and
World Peach.
and after that I made sure the flyers were spelled right. It's like all caps, one word, World Peace.
Whose fuck up was that?
It was
man?
Frankie. He was on the network.
You just fucking autocorrected that. Or,
Yeah, Frankie Montes.
Yeah, shout to Frankie, yeah, I know
Shout to Frankie. He's at where Independent Burger. Right
I
now.
lose track, man. He manages so many shits, Crave and fucking Independent. And
Yeah,
I
but
bumped
he
into him the other
right
day.
there when we started with Frankie, me and Def Tech, what we did is we went half on sound,
Okay.
and we bought a whole system because we knew that there was a need, And we knew that Frankie needed sound. He didn't have sound. He had a whole bar, everything set up. And that's one thing I don't understand. Bar owners open a bar, never buy sound. Bar owners, if you're listening, buy sound. Buy a CJ, buy some CDJs, buy whatever you need to have your place ready to go.
Yeah, it's better just to have your own.
Just have it, because you're going to waste
shit.
your money renting it. I made money renting
Yeah.
to Frankie over and over. I think me and Deftech made our money 5 times over.
Yeah.
And I started as a sound guy and then
Maybe
started
they're
DJing.
afraid of
and
people
then-
fucking it up or something.
and nah,
People get a little
we
crazy
bought
back
it
there.
to rent it, and we bought it to make money.
But the bar owners, they might be afraid of people just fucking them up or something, no?
I mean, but it's an investment. I mean,
Yeah. Plus, you can make your money. I guess.
yeah, I mean,
one good day at the bar.
I mean, they can do what they want.
Yeah,
But
no,
I would
we're just
recommend to any bar owner, buy your equipment.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Save some
It'll
money.
eat you up. It'll eat you up because if you don't have sound, you don't have anything.
And then you have to depend if this person
And that's
doesn't
where it all
have
started. I started a lot like at the network, and then I just branched off, and then just
Hell yeah.
I met. Well, I had already known the Navas
Okay.
from LNSC, and
Shouts
then we
to
did
the
some
LNSC.
business together there, and then 2 years into that, we were doing bump swing at 1914.
Yeah, I remember that shit. Fuck
And I mean, I had equipment, and they needed equipment, and it was like scratch my back, scratch yours, and
yeah.
I ended up being the resident for bump swing.
Fuck yeah.
And I would
that was a
play
good night.
10 to 11, opening all the time. I was very humble always. I was always very grateful that I had a platform to express myself.
Do
You know,
your thing and
like,
shit.
and it just
Action in the
blossomed to
can.
what it is.
I've been ashing in the can and shit.
Yeah, I
You
still got to drink this kind of Yeah, right now,
Need
for
an
all the
ashtray.
people, if you want to get a visual, we're smoking fucking cigarettes like crazy.
Smoking cigarettes.
And drinking beer.
No ashtray.
There is an ashtray. It's a Scarface ashtray.
Why the fuck are you looking around like you
No,
have someone
no,
ashing and
no.
shit, motherfucker? Oh yeah. Well, tell us about. I know just real quick, just for fun, man. I know you have traveled a little bit recently, right?
Yeah.
Tell us some about some of your adventures and shit, dog.
2019 was a son of a bitch. Like, I went through a lot of shit this year, and towards the middle of summer, I just needed to get the hell out of El Paso.
Yeah.
I booked a trip to Cancun, left for a week. Enks missed the trip.
Oh, by accident.
I
what do you mean?
don't know, like, well, I don't know if it was an accident.
Give us
but
the PG version.
it was pretty funny because we had people looking for him the next day. I had like people looking for him, and I'm like, what a fucking rock star, this motherfucker! Like, misses the
looking for
fucking trip to Cancun.
I think I saw him on the back of a milk carton and shit. His picture.
Like, you can't make this shit up. Like, fucking rock star misses the fucking trip.
I saw his picture on the back of a PBR.
So
fucking beer.
after
bar.
that, one of my friends, when I came back from Cancun, settled a little bit. One of my friends offered he's going back to Acapulco. He's
Yeah.
from there, and he said, "Dude, you can come stay at my house." And I was like, "I'm down." Like, I took 12 days off. I went over there.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
hung out there, and
Anything crazy happened out there?
in Acapulco, a lot of crazy shit. What I love, actually, I had like a contrast this summer because I went to 2 different Mexican cities.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Acapulco more because it's more Mexican. It's more, when you go to Cancun, it seems like you're in the States. I mean,
Oh,
there's
okay,
a
okay.
Subway everywhere. There's McDonald's.
For
there's
I've never been to
Apple.
either one.
You
man.
go to Acapulco, you don't see any of that crap. It's freaking
Straight
Mexico.
up
It's Mexico. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so pure and it's rich and it's beautiful. I love Mexico. I'm working right now on getting my dual
Oh,
citizenship.
for real? Fuck yeah.
And I'm not from here or from there.
Yeah,
Como se
yeah.
dice,
That's
Ni
the
de
best-
aquí ni de allá.
That's the best way you gotta be. dog.
Man.
Keep it fucking flexible and shit. Also, people, since he was describing, what we're doing here, he also has no shirt on. That's the first time. That's a Sweet Jesus Radio first. World
Why
peace over
wear a
here.
shirt?
Have no
I
shirt.
hate clothes. Sometimes when I can, I DJ barefooted.
Holy fuck.
I wear trunks all the time. Like that's what I wear. I wear swimming trunks all the fucking time.
You should
It's
come
kind
to
of
a
winter
gig
right
just
now.
in front.
Like it's kind of weird.
And you got the dope. Of course, you got a bunch of tattoos, but you got the Enks, big ass piece on your
World
fucking
peace.
stomach.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
cool story.
Oh, for real? Let's see. Enks. Tell the story.
Damn.
You start with
That story started from, it was a tattoo convention in Juarez.
Oh, word. You told me a little bit about that. But go
Yeah,
ahead. For the
yeah.
listeners.
the day before. Remember, I picked you up in the bridge.
Yeah.
Start there.
I told him to pick me up from the bridge because I didn't want to party that night. Because all these tattoo artists were going to party that night. And I knew I was going to tattoo him the day after. So I told him pick me up from the bridge, and he did. But sure enough, we partied all night.
Why? Because Tommy Bustillos.
Georgie party all night? No.
Tommy Bustillos asked me to be a guest DJ at Lost and Found.
Okay.
He never has guest DJs there. And he just asked me, hey. So I told Enks, we're going here. As soon as we walked into Lost and Found, we like just changed the vibe. Like
That's on night.
there was a line around the corner that night. Like it was freaking
in
packed.
Mexico or here?
No, Lost and Found.
I've never heard
Current
of
place.
It's a
Current place. Never heard of Lost and Found.
I'm getting like I only go to like quickly out there over and over again.
Nah,
we need to shots of
you need to leave. You need to go. You need
getting
to,
old, man. Right?
We need to take you there, bro. So then we're playing, and we ended up coming back to my house. I think we hung out here with Tommy until 5, 6 in the morning.
Damn.
And
We were supposed to be at the tattoo convention by 11.
by 11, no, we didn't leave my house till like noon.
Yeah. We didn't. We got to a tattoo convention, and I'm setting up, and my tattoo equipment fucked up.
Oh shit, for real.
Actually, it's right here. Yeah.
right here.
My
That's
power
a-
supply messed up.
Fucked up.
We got listeners. We got the actual
A visual.
equipment right here. Let's take a picture of that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang it on the wall.
Take a picture if you can right now, man. On your phone if you can. It's like
So we had to wait out. We had to wait out of the whole show and everything.
I had a way out. I was like, oh, his shit fucked up. I couldn't.
Oh,
like,
okay, cool.
But I said no. We're gonna buy him
Damn,
a new power supply because it's a tattoo convention.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
sell everything. They sell needles.
Oh,
they
okay.
sell
Got
ink, they
the
sell-
vendors and all that.
I'm all pick the one you want, dude.
Yeah, I got the cheapest one. Give me the cheapest one. You know,
It's a power supply.
How much is the cheapest one? I don't even know.
30,
shit
40
about
bucks?
it. Okay,
30, 40
cool.
bucks. You know.
And what happened after that? Just got to work on
We
this
got to
fucker
work.
stuff.
We were hungover.
9 hours.
I was sweating. He was sweating. It was just fucking nuts.
The first
dude.
hour was like I went in a trance.
Damn, I would die. Like that shit looks fucking painful, dog. I did my inner bicep and that shit was painful.
See,
as
at
fuck.
first, I actually just wanted like world peace, like
Yeah.
around like this,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
as big.
Shit's
And then
big.
he was looking at me. He's all, dude, there's too many letters. Like world peace is a long fucking name. Like,
Yeah.
so and he goes, let me just. I go, do what you. have
Just
to
put
do."
WP.
And then I saw what he was drawing. I'm a holy shit. He's gonna cover all this fucking real estate on my stomach.
That's
I
a lot
said,
of real estate.
fuck it, do it. It's by
We
Enks. It's by
should
my
take
brother.
a picture of that shit too, man, before we bounce and shit. That shit looks dope as fuck.
Yeah, we did. It took us like 9 hours.
Yeah, we even had to finish here, do finishing touches that night, and then the next day outlining all this.
Damn,
And
fuck that shit. Ugh,
it was. He has a good hand though. He has.
I can tell, man.
I've had artists that they've jacked me up a little bit, but
No,
he
shit,
has a
that's it.
smooth hand. Enks has a smooth.
So you
hand.
did so you were, of course, street artist first. Was it tattooing next? And
Yeah,
then,
tattooing was next.
Okay. How did you get? Who like inspired you? I know you were the plug. How did the body paint come into? Do you remember your first shit?
Yeah, I would tag my name on girls' ass
Nice.
all the fucking time, and it was just I never thought it would take me so far. You know, it was never
Do me a
something.
favor by talking to the mic. Yeah, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
you
So, what were we talking about?
Body paint.
about painting
shit.
girls'
Yeah.
asses.
So it was
Yeah.
just painting girls, you
It's a
know,
lot,
and
man.
very simple. You know, I just wanted to fucking paint girls and just have a good time, you know. And I remember I would bring girls over to my mom's, and she would just get mad at me. She's like, "This is no hotel. You can't be bringing girls like that." And I'm like, "I'm just fucking."
It's just a canvas, mom.
Tell
It's a
him-
canvas.
Tell him about the phone call when you got the phone call.
What phone
at the
call?
shop.
Oh, yeah. When I got that phone call for that TV show that I was on.
Sure, let's jump into that then. So, yeah, so let me just set it up real quick. So, okay, so of course it started with girls. That's the only reason you would start body paint, right?
Yeah.
Shouts to all the girls that let Enks, do his thing and be in a canvas there. But, so for the listeners, because I didn't even know at the time that it was going on, because, I guess I wasn't watching too much TV or whatever, but, that's kind of where I saw your name started popping up a shit ton. Listeners, he was, I guess, a contestant of a reality show, right? Is that what it was? Called Skin Wars. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
So, when I first, heard about that, I thought that shit was like a documentary about like racism or some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's the Skin Wars and shit. But yeah, go ahead, man. Give us all the details, please, man. Give us the long version of the story, as I always say. Again, it was a competition. It was about body paint, right? But go ahead, take it
body
from there.
paint. Yeah, man. I was tattooing at my shop one day, and I got a phone call from LA,
Hell yeah.
And at that time, I didn't have any friends in LA, so I was kind of curious to see who it was, And usually, I don't like to stop halfway through a tattoo to answer a phone call, because people are paying me for my time. It's a form of disrespect.
Professionalism, dog.
And I asked my client if I could answer this call. He said, "Go for it." And I answered the call, and it was the producers of Skin Wars that reached out to me.
Dope.
And they were like, "Is this, and this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And we're the producers of this TV show. We saw your work on social media. We would like for you to come try out for this show. And I'm like, "What is this show about?" The fuck?
It's about racism.
And it said, "Oh, it's about painting girls, on nationwide TV." And I'm like, "Is this a prank call?"
I know, it sounds like a prank.
Yeah, it was too good to be true. So, no, they were like, "Yeah, if you're interested, we could fly you out to LA for you to try out for the show and this and that." And I just said, "Yeah, fuck it, sign me up."
Oh yeah.
And a week later, they flew me out to LA. I show up and there's 60 artists from around the world, and we had to do a body paint for 6 hours.
Damn.
And we had to describe our piece to some judges that were there,
Dope.
And out of the 60 artists, I was the one that had the shortest description of my work,
Keep it simple.
I went up there and I remember I told them, "I'm here to paint. You're the judge. You tell me if I'm good or bad."
Yeah, I like that shit.
And I just left it at that.
Everybody else is fucking
Everybody's like,
whole essay and shit.
I painted this flower because of
I'm
my
so
grandma,
good.
and I
I'm
painted
so
this shit.
good.
And it's like, they're just,
corny shit, but
Yeah.
they probably just saying what they think these people want to hear, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. And right there and then, everybody left. They flew everybody back home. They didn't tell nobody who made the cut.
Yeah.
They said, "We'll reach out to you if you make the cut."
Hell yeah.
Literally a day later, they called me up. They're like, "Hey, Rick, you just made the cut for the show. Congrats." We start filming in 2 weeks.
Dope.
It all happened too fast, Within 2 weeks, I already knew I was going to be on this
Fucking
fucking huge TV show, And the craziest part about it all is that most of these contestants actually applied. They filled up an application, and they've been working to be on this show. They've
Holy
been
shit.
practicing. They're like legit body painters,
You thought it was a prank.
Yeah, I mean,
You got the
so
call.
there was like at least 6 people that got called upon.
Yeah.
And I was one of them, and yeah, I went back, and it was out of the 60, only 12 made the cut, and we started filming the show, man, and it was fucking. I remember the first day that I stepped into the studio, it was just too much.
For real.
Too much, man. There's cameras all over the place. I was mic'd up.
Damn.
I was shy. I was fucking. I wouldn't even say a word, man. Literally, my first 3 pieces were shit, man. Cause I was just, my mind was
Like
all
fuck.
over the place, dude.
Nervous and shit.
Yeah, it was too much,
Yeah, that's crazy, dog.
But
People don't even realize like how deep that shit is. Cameras is like just constantly on you, mic'd up, and pressure, I guess, right?
yeah, the pressure was always there, but it's not something that I'm not used to. I guess,
Nobody for that level of pressure. Fuck no, dog. So was it? Cause I'll be honest, man, I've never seen that shit. So
I've actually never seen it either. Yeah.
So for the listeners, like, was it like, were you in a house or some shit that you guys like?
Whoa.
Well, I know you obviously have to paint at some point, but was it like a typical like a reality show where you're interacting with the other contestants and trying to make you beef with each other and shit?
Yeah, it was a lot of things going on. We were staying in a mansion in Beverly Hills.
Oh shit.
We were there filming for 3 months.
Damn.
And the craziest part about the whole thing is that we couldn't watch TV.
Yeah. You can't.
We didn't have phones. We couldn't listen to music. We couldn't draw. We couldn't write. We couldn't do.
You're not allowed to draw either. What the fuck?
Nah, you couldn't do a lot of things. We were forced to interact with
With each other.
Like
some prison shit.
It really was. Wake up at 5 in the morning. We would start filming at 6:30 till midnight.
Damn.
Sometimes even to 2, 3 in the morning. And it was just.
So besides the painting, what else did you guys do?
When I was filming the show,
Yeah.
that's all we did.
Okay.
Well, we had a schedule. It was
All right.
it was Monday. It was advertisement. So
Okay.
we would go and we would film commercials. We would do like marketing.
Yeah, the
We would
promo
do
for that shit.
promo,
Right,
and then
right.
Tuesday we would paint, challenge, and then the third day, Wednesday, we would actually. Fuck, we would do a lot of things, man. A lot of things, but
Sounds nuts. This guy, he's talking about like he's talking about Vietnam and shit. Like, man, it's crazy, man. I can't.
Like
You're like
boot
you got
camp, like
PTSD
boot camp.
off this shit.
no, it is crazy, you know, because
It's just your vibe. It was like
at the end of the day, people just see the final outcome. You
Yeah.
know, they just see what comes out on TV.
edited.
Yeah,
not
the-
3 months worth of fucking recording shit. Fuck.
Yeah, no, it's nuts, dude.
But I'm
Yeah.
sure that pressure made some people cry.
It made
Man,
people crack. I saw people cry. I saw people
I believe it, man.
tap out. I saw people that
I miss my mommy.
freaked out. And I was just cruising, you know. I was just cruising. I mean, I was just.
You're like,
It was a win-win situation, you know. If I would have
Yeah.
gotten, I just didn't want to get kicked out in the first round.
yeah. That was your main goal.
Dile qué te dijo tu papá.
All right, Simón.
¿Qué me dijo mi jefe? Ese güey me hizo un chingo de
¿Se
cosas.
acuerda este güey más que tú?
no,
güey?
es que me platicó. Y
Right.
I got inspired, man.
Well, you tell it.
No,
You're-
¿qué te dijo?
Let me see that shit. Can I hit that shit?
O sea, recuérdame.
It inspired him more than it affected
Que
you.
no ibas a perder. Para nada.
Oh, yeah.
Don't come back home, man.
A dar putazos.
Ay, güey.
Dar putazos y
Si pierdes.
y si vas a perder con
putazos.
con putazos, con lo que tengas y con lo que
Yeah.
puedas dar.
Like in other words,
Like,
just
give it all you got.
give
No,
your
te
best,
vas a
give
dar
your
de
best.
vencido.
Leave it all in the fucking ring. And
Yeah, pretty much. And I would always have my dad's words in my
Words.
mind through the whole
Fuck yeah.
thing, you know. And that's something that made me who I am now. You know, my dad, he was always very cold-blooded. You know, he never treated me like his son.
Oh, for real.
He always treated me like his best friend. You know, he would always tell me very, very cold.
Direct.
You know,
Yeah.
very solid, very
Sounds like
blunt.
my dad.
And yeah, and that's what made me, you know. And I think what made me win the whole show is that I was the only real Mexican artist from the whole script, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You had some Hispanics. Dude.
There were Hispanics, but in my hood, they call
you like
them
that word? Huh?
they call
Fuck
them
that
they
word.
call them pochos.
Yeah. That's
Bolillos.
probably me and shit.
No, that's white.
But you're fucking. I mean, exactly. I mean, we're here on the fucking border and shit. So that's to a lot of people. That's like a fucking unicorn to the rest of the world. and
La
shit.
frontera más chingona del mundo. No mames.
I agree, man. 100%. So the listeners, I mean, fuck. As he said, he fucking won the shit. You know what I mean?
He won.
So can you talk about those moments then? leading
Yeah.
up?
Well, from what I remember, it all seems like a dream.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man.
It all felt like I doubted myself from the start, because some of these painters that I was going against have been painting more than I've been alive.
Oh shit, for real.
You know, so it just I saw myself like in a boxing match, you know, and they're putting me against people that are 25 and 0, you know.
Yeah, like
And
world
this
champion.
this is my first match, you know, and I'm like, what
It's
the
like
fuck?
a real Rocky story, dog.
And I just felt intimidated off the back. You know, I just felt like I didn't have what it take. I didn't have what I needed to win this whole thing. Next thing you know, I'm in the top 3 of the whole fucking game. And that's when I realized that I had it in the bag.
Hell yeah. So your confidence probably grew as you went on, right?
Yeah,
like, oh shit,
yeah.
I'm taking out these world champions, so to speak. It's like I might got a chance and shit. Hell yeah. So like the last, how does it go? So it's the last 3. Is that when they announced the winner from the last?
Yeah,
3?
from the top 3, there was a grand
Did-
finale.
Describe what you were feeling, man. Like when they're about to announce that shit.
Well, I already knew I had won.
Oh shit.
Not necessarily,
But in your,
but in my mind,
Yeah,
I already knew that.
confident.
Yeah,
you saw what they
you just
were
have
working
to.
with.
You know, if you want to be,
Manifest it.
if you want to
Yeah,
be,
yeah,
if you want to be a champ, you gotta
in that-
think like a champ. You
course.
Master it.
you gotta put that
Yeah,
into
energy out
into
there.
your mind. You know, because if you don't, you're gonna choke,
Exactly.
and the world will eat you alive.
That's important, man, right there.
So by the time it was top 3, I was like, I'm already top 3. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I got this shit.
Word.
I got this shit, and sure enough, you know, I did, and I took it out, and it was crazy because at least for the history of that TV show, I was the youngest competitor,
Oh, for real? Fuck.
and I was the only guy that has ever won that show.
Fuck yeah.
So
Yeah, because they've had
It's always
several
been girls.
seasons, right?
It's always been girls.
girls. Yeah,
For real?
Mhm.
I was in the third season. First and two were girls, and then the third was me.
You're the third season, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's fucking nuts, man. Fucking nuts. Did you have any interaction with any of the contestants and shit that you remember? Anybody you remember that was cool or whack? Or
My Hans, he was part of the show, and it's funny because I still talk to him to this day.
Oh, for real? Fuck yeah.
And in the show, they made us look like enemies, you know.
Yeah, they edited
Like
the
that
shit.
guy was like my worst enemy, but that guy, he's been on TV shows before.
Oh, for real.
So when I was talking to him, he told me, he broke it down, you know, this is what they want.
Yeah.
This is what they want you to do. This is all a script. They want you to feel this way. They want you to, and he kind of got me that perspective.
Kind of mentored you a little bit.
Yeah,
on that
he
shit,
did.
The show part of it.
Yeah, and I remember he tapped out because it was me and him. It was a challenge, and it was me and him, right? And it was one of us had to go home.
All right.
And then they put it to us like, why should you win this challenge?
Yeah.
What makes you better than this guy? And then I remember Hans said, I'm no better than this guy, you know, this guy deserves to be here. You know what? I got other shit to do, man. Let Rick step up. This guy deserves it more than I do, man. And that's what he said, man.
He threw the towel.
He threw the towel, and nobody was expecting that. And I remember when we were on set, and everybody was like, "What just happened?"
That's crazy. Yeah.
You know, because they wanted us to just go back and forth. Like, no, I want to be here. I want to
like,
be.
"Fuck
Yeah.
that."
He's like, "Fuck that, man. Like, this guy deserves to be here, man."
Flip the script on you, motherfucker.
And he did. He threw the towel, and
Were you surprised by it?
I was surprised. You know, because the whole time in the show, it was very cutthroat. You know,
Yeah.
everybody was there to win.
Of course, man.
Everybody was there to win. And it came down to me and him in one challenge, and he said, "You know what? This guy deserves to be here more than I do. I got shit to do back at home, man. I'm losing money by being here." He said that.
It's just been losing me money over here, man.
Yeah,
Just
and
counting the fucking dollars.
shout out to Hans, man. This guy.
Shouts to Hans.
Yeah, he just had a baby girl
Nice.
about 3 weeks ago. He's living in Indonesia.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah.
You really got shit to do. Fuckers out there in Indonesia, shit.
Yeah, we were actually in Austin a few weeks ago, and we were at a bar, and we saw actually one of his murals. And I told you, remember
really
I told
dope.
you that,
Yeah,
hey,
very
we're in
detailed.
Austin, yeah. Fuck yeah. So tell the listeners what you won, man. What came with your victory, man?
my victory. Well, I mean, a lot of things came from that.
Well, what was the prize? We'll start with the prize, and then
The
after
money,
that,
the money.
The money. Well, yeah, I got $100,000.
that's a lot of money.
$100,000. I was 20 years old.
Holy fuck.
Imagine 20-year-old with $100,000.
Shit, I won't.
And then I got a. They signed me up to the World Body Paint Festival in Austria. So after I won the show, they flew me out to Germany, and that's when it got real. You know, that's like the Olympics of body paint.
Oh, for real?
The best of the best of the best of the best of the world.
Hell yeah.
And I got 33rd out of 300 artists
Dope. In fucking Austria.
in Austria, and it was a great experience. I remember Austria. I remember I got caught tagging in Austria. Yeah, the police came up to me and they were so nice.
Oh, for real?
Nice. Yeah, they were like, "Sir, don't do that. Sir, we don't do that around here, sir."
You're not in America, motherfucker.
And I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm not from here, man."
Did you get charged?
No, they're like, "Sir,
Damn,
stop.
for real?
Keep going,
You
sir."
get beat up over here.
Yeah, they were.
Can I get a picture with you, sir? Estuvo. Machamos. Got the homies out here. They're about to bounce.
I'll hit you guys up later.
Machamos.
They're going to what's that thing that they're going to?
Spooky Jam in Carolina Skate Park.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
it's
skaters?
a bunch of skaters. They dress
Listeners,
up,
we got
you know.
homies hanging out here. They're about to bounce. Skaters and shit.
Well,
You bouncing too, bud? Machamos.
Alexis, he's a
my
tattoo
bad.
artist. Well,
Oh,
No,
see?
Alexis,
Fuck
he's a skater. He owns a skateboarding company in Juarez called Area.
yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
El
Shouts
Chiquito.
to you
Hey.
guys. Ahí, güey. Let's see. Give a shout out real quick, man.
Give a shout out, give a shout out.
Let's see. Shout your shit out real quick. Ahí está.
Ah.
Ahí está. We'll talk about it later. Out here, Enks impacting people out here. I don't know if it's good or bad, but
Whatever it is, even if it's good or
Made an
bad,
impact.
the
That's
impact
life. We'll
is
take
what
it.
matters, you know?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You might not like what you hear, but
It's just real shit though.
it's going to stick to you.
And after of course, the money, ostrich shit. What else after that, man?
I traveled the world, man. I traveled the world.
Oh, for real?
I went,
See, these are the things that a lot of people don't know. These details. You know what I'm
yeah, after I won that show,
Talk about
I
that
traveled
shit,
all over the UK. I was in London and Munich.
Damn.
I remember I was in Austria. I remember I had a threesome with 2 Russian girls.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
That was nuts, dude. These Russian girls don't fuck around, man. They saw a Mexican dude.
Bastards.
No, and I remember like
Comieron vivo.
I was the only Mexican dude in the bar, man.
That's gotta be weird, bro.
And they were like, "What is
Like
this?"
Mexico, like that's the
it's
other
like-
side of the globe,
And I
bro.
remember I want to shot up tequila, and they only had 1 tequila, and it was tequila Mexico.
Juárez. Tequila Juárez.
And it's just like a white
The
label
plastic
with black
bottle.
letters. It just says Mexico.
Some agave.
Some generic food and shit. Like when you go for the free cheese and shit, the government cheese. No, I don't know if you remember, like, but they would just have like a white label and just black letters. It would say peanut butter or cheese.
Yeah, it looked like
So,
an MRE.
Tequila. Yeah, like fucking that's some army shit right there. Some
Yeah.
military.
Well,
shit.
that's government food.
Nah, I love Germany, man. Germany's so cool,
The
man.
European shit, dog.
Yeah.
They're on some other shit.
Then after that, I flew to Brazil.
Dang,
I
that's
was
some-
in
that's
I was in
nuts.
Sao Paulo. I went to a tattoo convention.
Holy
I was
shit.
there. It was an international tattoo convention, and I was the shittiest artist in that convention.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, it was all OGs, masters of their craft,
Fuck.
and it was nuts.
Did you take pictures of all this shit?
Yeah. There's pictures all over the web. You know, I trip out when I Google my name because there's all these fucking things that pop up, and it's like
Dude,
People
your shit comes
actually-
up first when I was googling.
TV personality.
people actually take time to write about me. You know,
That's dope.
Let me tell you about this guy last week. We were in
Yeah,
Austin.
yeah,
We're at ACL.
Yeah.
Every night he got recognized by somebody.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And like there's the funniest one, the best one was we're in the VIP of ACL and we're just having fun. Then these girls are like, "We know you from somewhere. We know you from somewhere," but they couldn't figure out
Yeah.
all. Skin Wars 3 and it was like these little girls just saw the Beatles and like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god." It just like
Paint
melted.
on me.
And I saw the
So
smile that it brought to his face, and,
Oh, fuck
and
yeah, dude.
like, and then they're like, "Can we take a picture?" Of course, you can
Fuck
take a
yeah.
picture. Boom, boom, boom.
$10. Nah.
A few drinks.
Hell yeah. That's nuts, dog.
Yeah, we had a
Shit.
blast 2 weeks ago in Austin.
How was ACL, man?
It was good. We only actually went one day
Word.
because the other days we did a show where Enks was painting and I was DJing.
Okay.
It was a place called Speakeasy, and he actually sold one of his paintings, which is freaking awesome.
That's dope.
And
How much?
we'll leave that. We won't say
Top
anything
secret?
for tax purposes. No. What's cool is that even 2 days before, as soon as we got there, we got him a shot to do some live art while there was other DJs playing.
is that that time that we smoked DMT?
shit.
That was in between. But no, that was the time I almost burned down the bar.
Oh yeah.
Dog. Tell that shit. Tell that story.
Tell him the story.
Well, there's a thing that I do
Psychopath.
when I paint something and I'm painting live. The paint takes a certain time to dry.
Yeah.
So if you get a lighter and you get a spray paint, it's like a fucking torch, you know. So
He
that
told me to do it, but I didn't wait for it to dry, and the whole plywood went on fire. And it was next to a wall, and you could already see the wall kind
Somebody
of just
catching
flames
fire.
going in. Enks acted like real quick, and he just threw the plywood on the ground. And it turned it off, and then there was like a little fire on the edge, and I'm all stepping on it all nonchalantly. But
everybody was looking.
Yeah,
at
the
we
me.
meant to do
whole
that.
bar was looking at us.
We meant to do that. It's part of the show,
like,
guys.
Yeah.
It's part of the show.
Part of the show. And really, after that, all eyes were on us. Honestly, it was pretty whack. It was cool.
And then we got our shit stolen in 6th Street.
Yeah, that was
Are you
2
serious?
days later. We
What
got
shit? Equipment?
I lost all
luggage,
my tattoo
tattoo equipment. But what happened the next day?
We just bought it all
We
again.
bought it all again, and then the next day he made $1,000 tattoo.
Boom. That's
Boom.
Hey, that's how the
Boom.
world works. With that, putting that.
Put the fire out.
that
We had a fire. The fire was that we had our luggage stolen, equipment stolen, but we're men.
You were literally
we're men.
lit.
We're men. What do men do? Put the fucking fire out. Buy
Fire
equipment.
out, get
fucking
back
get
up,
back to work.
Do it again. Yeah.
We were
Put
gonna cry about
your
that
head
shit.
down. Yeah, stop whining about shit.
People get shit stolen in Austin all the fucking time,
That's a good-
especially during ACL.
I'm gonna say that's a good point. How old are you now? Like in your mid-20s, late-20s?
Mid-20s,
Okay,
yeah.
so just as this isn't even in my notes or anything, but in general, he made a good point. You grew up a certain way, but I'm not saying everybody, but like that's kind of like the judgment or the opinion of a younger generation is kind of complainers, excuse makers. You know what I mean?
Fuck
so you as a younger person, can you speak on that and just the listeners, anybody your age, because that does happen. And don't get me wrong, it happens with old motherfuckers too.
Well,
but first making excuses.
First thing is just that you can't let your age define you or on where you stand in this grid.
Hell yeah.
That's just the bottom line. I carry a lot of knowledge from my ancestors, and that's what makes me who I am.
Dope.
I come from a lot of very hardworking and respectful people.
Yeah.
And there's other people that come from shitty backgrounds, from shitty people, and that's who they are,
Yeah.
So it just comes back to just your family, your family.
Fuck excuses though, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your values, no.
But when you run into somebody that's like that though, that's a fucking crybaby ass excuse maker, how do you feel, man? Because that to me, that disgusts me, man. You know what I mean? It's like, shut the fuck up, man. Like just fucking put your head down and get back to work, like you said.
Yeah, you just gotta roll with the punches, man.
Exactly.
But then again, what helps out a lot is who you're surrounded by.
That's true, yeah,
having
true.
George has helped out a lot because I'm not the type of dude to talk about myself.
You're not, man.
Anywhere I
like
go,
that. That's dope, man.
I just kind of I just keep it to myself. But
Yeah.
this guy, on the other hand, he's my manager. He's the one that actually manages a lot of my things that I do.
Dope.
And having him, he has a business background. He knows how to make deals. He knows how to talk money, and I'm just good at what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just leave that to him, and I just show up and I do what I have to do, And I've learned a lot from him. He's learned a lot from me, and we just help each other out,
Yep.
back and forth,
Yep.
Oh yeah, man. So we're gonna we got some good time in. We're gonna go into the Facebook questions. I don't have my laptop up, so I'm pulling up my phone and shit.
I'm gonna take a piss real quick.
Go for it. While you take a piss, I'm gonna pull up the questions. Listeners, Enks is taking a piss. Georgie, just real quick while he's taking a piss, tell us about your first set of turntables, man.
Well, I first started dabbling with one of my best friends, Tony DiNapoli.
Okay.
He used to actually own Soho Cocktail
I
Lounge.
remember I've heard
Me and Tony
the name,
played.
yeah.
Me and Tony played rugby for 22 years
yeah,
together.
you told me you played rugby, dog, yeah.
And what's funny is about me and Tony is that we actually met at Village Inn. We were waiters there, and I was about to graduate high school, and I've always been an athlete. I was an athlete since I was 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
I was very hyperactive as a kid, and my parents just put me in every sport they
Dope.
could.
I love sports, man.
To just keep me occupied. And when I graduated high school, I went through a little depression. I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I want to keep playing football, but I was just not big enough to play college football. And then I met Tony at Village Inn and my friend Richard. They used to work there too, and they played rugby. And they said, try rugby.
That shit's rough.
So I tried rugby, and I fell in love with the game immediately. And then I fell in love with the brotherhood, the camaraderie with the guys. And after that, Tony and I became real close. The funny thing is that him and I, we were close. We were teammates. And one day I was at a rave, and I see Tony there. And Tony's like, hey, you like this stuff too? I'm like, heck yeah. We were partied. We're, at a rave, the old school raves.
That real shit.
So then Tony got into DJing, and he bought his own turntables, and that's when I started dabbling. I would mess around with him and buy some vinyl, and we were just messing around back then. And then I got married after that.
Oh, for real? Fuck.
So I kind of put that all in the back burner, and I had to worry about my family. And yeah, that's another podcast. That's the long story. But it was always in my mind. I always wanted to express myself through music. Even like I said, when I was a kid, making dub tapes and all that. Like, it was a different time back then. When I moved back to, I had moved to Dallas like in '01. I moved back to El Paso in '07, and that's when Tony created Soho. Mm-hmm. And Soho was kind of like the spot where the underground DJs had a platform. And I looked up to all those motherfuckers. Yeah. Vinny, Fredo,
fuck yeah,
like Ryan, Che.
Those that created the scene.
Like that was the scene. That was like, and I had just moved back to El Paso, and these kids were new to me. They didn't even know me. And now they're some of my like great friends and brothers, and we're colleagues and in this crazy DJ business. Yeah. One thing is that I see is that El Paso has a lot of talented DJs. The scene here is just phenomenal. I've talked to artists that have come from out of town, people that have played in Juarez at Hard Pop, and they just love to come here because they love the way people love the music. Like there's a passion towards it.
There is.
So I always wanted to be a part of that, and I got my opportunity when I started my sound company. I was like recently divorced, and it was something I always wanted to do. And when I got divorced, I did a lot of shit that I always wanted to do.
You make up for lost time and
shit. Man. I mean, I love my family, but sometimes people they split up, and that's just the way of life. I'm not the only one. I'm not the last one. And when that happened, I just started to live my life for me, and to the beat of my own drum, and I do whatever I want.
Just like Meta World Peace. Yeah. It's like Ron Artest.
I do what I want. I hate when people tell me what to do because I'm in charge of me. And sometimes, I mean, I do what I want, and I'm willing to pay the price.
That's what it's about.
I'm willing to do that.
You got motherfuckers.
But I do what I want. Yeah. I do what I want. Nobody tells me what to do.
But you got certain motherfuckers that, talk about doing what they want, but they're not willing to pay the price.
You gotta be willing to pay the price.
Because they look up to, or, they're inspired by people that do what they want, whether it be celebrities or people in their city. But you find out quick, it's fun doing what you want, but there's some prices to pay. There's sacrifices and shit.
I just feel like society right now has these society rules that are a bunch of bullshit. Everybody needs to just fucking be true to themselves.
Stop being a little bitch.
And stop being a little bitch. Stop fucking following the guidelines that society has set for you. Yeah. Do what you want. Be true to yourself, and you'll be happier. I am. I mean, if you don't want to be, then fucking live in that fucking rat race and fucking do.
Yeah, you can go on and on about that exactly, topic.
But we don't want to go all there.
Yeah, it's another podcast too.
That is another podcast.
All right, fucking Enks, man. For both of you guys, we got a few questions. You know what I'm saying? I usually try to put this shit a day before to get more questions, but we got a couple of them Facebook questions. We got the first one. I'm just gonna address it real quick.
Ridiculous, man. Come on now.
We got George Young Jung. Is that fucking Rico Eric? Is that okay? He asked them their top 50 podcasts they listen to.
50 motherfuckers.
So, but yeah, he doesn't give a fuck about the podcast shit. He's taking so the listeners know, he's taking a little pot shot at me because I had put a joke about, somebody should put a top 50 rappers in El Paso so I can read the comments. Because anytime you drop like a list of anything, people get on the comments and drop their opinions and people go at it. And you see I'm like, dude, it's just social media, man. There's no fucking... Why are we fighting about this dumb shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's referring to that shit. So, but I'll address it just out of love. It's a homie and shit. Shout out to fucking Eric and shit. But the next question, we got the homie Richard Rojas. That's a buddy of mine, Rich. Shouts to Rich. He asks, if they ever got locked up in J-Town. Have you ever been locked up in J-Town?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
Oh shit, that's it.
Yeah, I got locked up plenty of times.
How many times? Let's start there. How many times?
Probably say like 5 or 6 times, and they were all for graffiti.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah.
Are any of them memorable? Did some shit happen?
Shit.
Or can you describe one or two of them?
Yeah. I remember I was tagging downtown, and we got pulled up by the federals, and we didn't have any money. So you know how shit goes out there. You got money, you won't go to jail, you know. But we didn't have money. We got locked up, and my dad found out I was locked up like 2 days later. He's like, "Where the fuck is this guy?" You know. And sure enough, I was locked up, and it was cool, you know. I was about to get I was hustling in there, you know. I was already making business from the in and out. But no, man, it's Juarez is definitely a fucking gamble, you know. You never know where you're gonna get. No matter where you're at, you're always gonna be risking something.
Yeah. Have you ever been
Well, no.
Any close calls?
When I was young, I mean, we frequented.
Because I've had some close
Juarez,
calls.
like from
that's
when I was 16.
Shit,
yeah, it was a 90s shit. Like we could go drink over there. It was like a high school reunion when we were over there. We'd go to Tequila Derby. We'd go to San
You're a
Juan,
kid,
we'd go to
though.
Cosmos,
You're like,
we'd go
you
to-
feel older and shit.
We were kids.
Yeah.
Like I look at
You
kids
think
now,
back-
16.
You think back?
Y
you're like,
andábamos
what?
desmadrosos
We were
allá.
fucking Juarez,
Drinking
man.
drown, fucking
Cops.
$7. Y luego teníamos feria, pues les dábamos una propina de $5. Estaba en la caja del lager, pinche
Super
24 así
cheap.
con hielo y todo. And that, honestly, I look back at that and I feel like if you guys listening have ever seen the movie Pinocchio, and when they go on that ship and they're smoking cigars and drinking booze and like that's how I felt. I felt like I knew it was not the best way to grow up, but like I said, I had very loose parents. The kids that I hung out with in high school, also they came from broken families, and we were kind of outcasts in a way. Like vámonos, and we all bonded like together. We used to roll 50 deep over there because we were afraid. We wanted to just maintain and be with all our friends, you know, and have some
you
backup.
need to have some backup when you're out there.
Yeah,
man.
and I never the question.
I used to go to EXO and Sarawak and shit. You definitely need some backup.
Or Hard Times. Remember Hard Times when they used to do slammers?
Remember Hard Times? What the fuck?
En la calle estaba un pinche slammer like.
What the fuck? I missed out on that one. What the
You
fuck?
did miss out on that one.
But you know EXO and Sarawak or some gangster shit.
Yeah. So the original
That's
question
when they played the
was
hip-hop, though.
was if I ever got locked up. I never got locked up, but I helped a lot of friends that were about to get locked up, and we, like Enks said, you have to pay the cops off. I did have an incident around 7 years ago. This was actually more than 7 years ago, around 2009-ish, around there.
Yeah.
I like to gamble. I like to gamble on NFL games.
Okay.
And
sportsbook shit.
yeah,
Was that still around?
and what's weird is that this one time it was at Caliente. It doesn't exist more, but I ended up winning a 10-game parlay.
Damn.
I won like $1,000.
The most
And
I won $400 once out there.
I was so happy, and I walked out of Caliente, and I know that somebody tipped somebody off because the cops just stopped me almost immediately, and they said that I was drunk, first of all, and I was like, I'm not drunk. They kept telling me, te vamos a hacer un examen y te tenemos que llevar, blah blah blah. They ended up rolling me about $300.
Damn.
But I still got taken to the end of the bridge, and they told me to go back, and I still had $700.
That works, man.
And it was a hard lesson.
That works.
And I feel somebody told these fuckers that I had $1,000 in my pocket, and because they pulled me over probably around the corner from the casino, and you know they gotta eat. And that's what they're trying to do is eat.
Yeah, I won $400 once on a parlay out there, man. It was like a 6 or 7 game parlay.
I missed one last week. Freaking Redskins. The spread was 10 and the score was 9-0. And
I remember there was this one time. It was my brother's birthday. We were in Juarez.
Yeah.
And I was gone. I was gone, and I was walking back over the bridge, and I had lost my passport.
Damn.
So I had no ID. I had no passport, and I pull up to the immigration,
Oh, yeah, I heard this one.
and they're like, "Hey, are you American citizen? Yeah. Do you have a passport? Yeah. Where is it? Well, I lost it. You know what? We're gonna have to do an inspection on you. So can you please step to the side?" I was drunk, right? And they took me to the back, and they're like, "Can you empty out your pockets?" Sure. So I took everything out of my pockets, my wallet, and then I put a fucking little bag of weed. As soon as I put that, they're like, "Sir, please put your hands behind your back." You're
casual.
You're being detained. And I remember the officer that detained me. He's like, "Aren't you that guy from that TV show?"
Oh, it was after that? Oh, shit.
And he's like, "This is what you end up to be? Trying to smuggle drugs to the States?"
Smuggle a bag of you.
That's what he said. And I told him, "Really? You really think if I would want to smuggle shit and I would just bring half a gram, it's like, come on, dude. Like, I totally forgot. If I knew I had it, I would have smoked it." And they detained me for 24 hours right there in the Puente Libre.
Oh, yeah.
And
Crazy.
they charged me $600. That was the most expensive gram in my life. Yeah. And
Like moon rock and shit.
That's a different story. It's a moonrock. It was moonrock. All right, so the next question we got is from Tyler Crafton.
Oh shit, Mr. Tyler.
I love that kid. I don't know him that well, but I love how he
TK.
says my boy.
TK.
He asks, again, I'm just reading them as they put them. What is well, I'm gonna add some words to make some sense. But what's the most influential artist to inspire them? So it gets to both of you.
myself.
Let's start with there you go. Boom. Keep it simple.
Myself. If you're looking for inspiration, you gotta look inside of you, because only you know how much you're fucking up. Only you know how much you need. Only you know what you need to change. Only you know what you need to work on yourself.
Only you know what's going on inside your own mind and shit.
Don't get me wrong. There is inspirations that I follow. Like,
But the main
for
ones,
example, it would be like KRS-One.
Yeah,
He's
fuck
one of them.
Fuck yeah.
But other than that, I don't look to other artists to find inspiration.
Right.
I simply just look at myself in the mirror, and I know what I need to change. I know where I'm lagging. I know what I need to move forward, and from there, I find the answers that one would find from inspiration.
Yeah. That's dope. I like that one. George?
Well, I mean, as far as inspiration, music has always been an inspiration,
That's the shit.
and I
Music
can't.
itself.
Yeah, music itself, and I was a type of kid that I liked every type of music. I like I like rap, I like heavy metal. I grew up in that age when grunge was cool until Mervin's turned grunge.
Oh, they're starting to
Like,
shirts and shit.
it's funny because they commercialized grunge so hard that like there was a grunge section in Mervin's, and it's just that commercialism, like that.
It's a nice
But
shit.
inspiration I read a lot, and what's funny is some guy that really inspired me because he just doesn't give a fuck was Charles Bukowski.
Okay.
And he wrote some fucking badass books and poems, and he just was real. This motherfucker didn't have a fucking job, and he was just trying to write. He was a postman,
Yeah.
I believe, and a
Super
drunk
graphic.
ass, and
Yeah, he was
graphic.
a
But you know
drunk, right?
what? He didn't give a fuck, and that inspires me.
Yeah.
When I do what I do, I don't give a fuck. I go, and if I fuck up, then I fuck up, but I go. I fucking just go.
Go.
I go what I feel. I feel
Trust
inspiration.
your
Just
instincts and shit.
yeah.
Those same words you just said, I heard them from RuPaul, and I was partying with RuPaul after we filmed the
shit.
show,
We gotta hear this story.
Uh-oh.
and
RuPaul, fuck.
and we had just finished wrapping up the show, and RuPaul he sent someone to kick everybody out the club.
Yeah.
He says, "I want this club for the production. All the production, the filmers, recording engineers, all these guys would go and we partied." And I was sitting next to RuPaul and talking about grunge. I asked RuPaul, "Hey, what was it hanging out with Kurt Cobain?"
Oh shit.
And he told me Kurt Cobain loved me, hate me, wanted to kill me. but he was the most honest man that I kind of got to hang out with, you know. He was very bipolar, he said.
Oh, shit.
And to hear these stories from someone that is still alive and live certain experiences.
He hated being famous.
Touch with greatness there.
He hated being famous. Kurt
Yeah,
Cobain
he has,
hated being-
I've talked about this maybe on the podcast before, but he has it's not a quote per se, but it was like, I guess, part of an interview. He
It
said
was
some
in his
shit.
songs. Listen to his songs. He's
Yeah,
talking
but
shit
he's-
about the record industry in his songs.
He said some shit
Rape
about...
me.
Yeah. Like,
Raping him.
but his goal, like, apparently, at least in one interview, was that because, I mean, he would fucking shoot up and shit. He wanted to, like you said, rape me, but like he wanted to make music. He liked music, but he wanted just to make, I think he said $3 million. He just, in other words, make enough so where I can get
Keep
out
playing-
of it. No,
oh, to get out of it? Okay.
and just get his big house, hole himself up, and shoot up all it. So, like, in other words, I don't have to, like, steal for it. Let's just make this money so I can do what I really love.
What I really want to do is get
Just
high.
fucking, get high. Which is, to me, it sounds fucking crazy, but to listeners, it's going to sound crazy. But it'll make sense to you guys probably, but that's just beautiful to
That
me.
was hard. That was hard.
That's just
I
beautiful to
actually,
me.
I had always heard of rock stars dying because I grew up listening to all kinds of music, and I mean, you've heard all the stories like Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin,
They're visitors.
you know, yeah, and
There you
then
go.
for it to happen when I was about to graduate high school, Kurt Cobain fucking shoots himself.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck, like.
That was high school shit.
That was our guy. That was our guy.
93 shit,
Like,
yeah.
You know, and then later on, like the violence that happened with music, like with the rap stars, and all that was pretty fucking crazy too.
The 90s
Growing
were
up with
nuts,
that, yeah, like seeing Tupac get killed, seeing Biggie get killed, what the fuck? Like,
man. We lived through that shit.
yeah, we lived through that shit and we saw it, and it was like, it was when, I mean, the internet was booming, and back then it was new that you can just turn on any freaking cable channel and get news immediately. Like
Yeah.
that was new to
Yeah.
us
was
when
getting more and more.
we're like growing up in the 90s, like
Technology was getting
95,
crazy.
96,
It
like
was the early stages.
I
of
was
all
in
that
college when that happened, and then the OJ trial happened during
shit.
that time,
The 90s
and
were
then
nuts,
it
man.
just that changed the freaking world.
The 90s were nuts, man.
They were nuts. They're
That's nuts. People don't realize how
it
crazy
was.
the 90s.
There's so much that happened in 10 years that
Yeah.
just surpassed us from the way we were in the past. That
Yeah,
technology is just
technology,
was bad.
violence.
I feel like-
politics.
and it was all in our face. It was all in our face
Yeah.
on the TV.
Soon-
in El Paso in general is nuts as fuck. What's up,
Soon,
Enks?
soon people are gonna boycott the internet.
I don't even watch TV.
Yeah.
I don't even watch TV. I don't watch TV.
The
anymore.
reason why is because it's gonna get to a point where people they forget how to be humans.
Yeah. already happening,
Simply
man.
because technology is overpowering a lot of these things and emotions that we carry through these fucking portals of technology, and
It's like artificial portals and shit.
at one point, I'm sure it will happen where people are gonna just they're gonna try to go back,
Go
back.
Cycles.
It's too much.
It's
Technology is
cycles
gonna
in
get
general.
too much where it's gonna overpower
Yeah.
a lot of things, which is already happening.
Yeah, you'll have certain sects come out of like motherfuckers that are just tired of that shit.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna grow and grow from there.
Yeah, that's something I learned a lot from myself, getting a lot of attention through social media after I became this and this and that and this.
Oh,
It
you
just
saw it firsthand, man.
it was too much.
Like it's love, but it's also like what the fuck. Some of it's like too artificial.
It kind of made me feel like someone else for a minute, you know.
Yeah,
But it's part of the show,
that too.
and it's only good if you're aware of this. Because if you're not, you're only gonna get sucked into the whole perspective of.
The social media, the people's perspective, like or perception. I'm sorry of you, but they only know, one side of it.
Exactly, and people just post the bright side.
Exactly, and that's what people do in general on social media. Is just, oh, I'm here doing this, and that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not the full person. You know what I mean? So that shit's that's fucking true. So yeah, that's crazy, man. We're gonna start to revolt. Like fuck internet, let's go back to simpler times. But it's also pretty fucking addictive too, man. Shit, I'll be the first to say that.
And that's actually something last year on New Year's. one of my New Year's resolution was that I'm I'm not going to have a phone
Dope.
throughout 2019.
Oh shit, that's dope.
And to this day, I mean, I haven't had a phone since the year started. I need 2 more months,
Oh, for real?
and
I'm his phone.
I'll get through this.
I was wondering, man. It was
Like, I'm out of reach. Like, nobody could get a hold of me right now.
dope.
This is the closest guy that they
Well,
could
see,
get a
we
hold
I
of.
fucking created a group chat. I only used Instagram because I saw him on there. I was like, and we talked to both of them. It's like, there's like no interaction from fucking Enks and shit. But yeah, I mean, dude, even I'll be honest with you. I mean, the motherfuckers that run the world, they'll tell you. Even I think who was it, Jobs? One of these motherfuckers were like, I don't let my kids get on any of that shit because they're the ones that created it, but they know the harms of it. Like I think I've heard of Dana White, the CEO of UFC and whatnot. Mm-hmm. He has a flip phone, that, from what I've read. But the motherfuckers that run shit, they even know like the harms of social media and technology. So they don't let their children nah.
Yeah.
This is for these fucking peasants over here, for us fucking lab rats and shit.
That is pretty much a rat race.
Exactly. Last question, man. This is coming from, again, Facebook name. That's the Rolling Rocks, Falling Hard.
Wow. You really
Question-
splurged on the Rolling Rocks. Are those cheaper than Tecate?
Dude, they're cheaper than PBR.
Wow.
Hey, this fucking,
It's okay.
you got this fucking equipment
okay.
here, all this shit.
It's agua
Dude,
bendita.
My shit's like, I'll give you the short version. I used to make okay money, and then
Oh, thank you for
I got,
bringing us a
I got in
12-pack.
trouble with the law, and now I buy Rolling Rocks. now I make shit money.
Yeah, that's okay.
But the question, hey, like we said, we just keep getting back up, and it doesn't matter. We're resourceful. But the question for Rick. It says, how did you? And we've talked about it a little bit about the show and whatnot. Skin Wars. How did you stay so focused and true to your art throughout the whole reality style of the show?
Not thinking about it.
Not thinking about it. Okay.
The more I would think about it, the more I would actually get sucked into the spectrum of the script and what they're trying to do with us, And I found that halfway through the show, and I realized that the more I think about it, the more I'm fucking up.
Yeah. You get inside your own head.
Yeah, so I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to go and I'm just improvise. And that's something that I am good at. And I just go and I just break the ice, and keeping my mind on the right track. I was just there to paint. Yeah. I was just there to prove myself. I was not there to be the best.
Yeah.
I was just there to just do what I'm good at and break it down. So pretty much what got me through was not thinking about it.
Okay, so let me take it a step further on the question. Not thinking about it, but what helped you not thinking about it? How did you, because it's hard, you can't.
How did you not think about it?
Yeah, how do you, just to say you're not thinking about it is already you're thinking about it. So how did you not think about it? Or how did you escape that shit? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the whole show is about making art. And the best art that I've made has come without having to think about.
Plan.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the more I plan things out, the shittier they get. So I through experience, I learned that I'm better off just cutting my mind short and not thinking about it till I'm there. It's like your time starts now. And there's challenges that we had 30 minutes. There's challenges that we had 3 hours, 10 hours. So the fact that I didn't think about it, I was just bouncing, bouncing, and then that just got me through the whole rhythm of the show.
Yeah.
Because I would see people think a lot. Overthink. They would just break their head so hard that by the time that they had to execute and get down, they were already fried. They were fried from a lot of fucking thoughts that they would think, and that's what just cut. I went vice versa, and I just did the opposite.
Yeah.
I think that happens a lot in life. People just overthink life.
And you have to catch yourself.
We've been like messing around with the saying, no pasa nada.
No
No pasa nada. Do whatever you want, no pasa nada. It doesn't matter.
I think
Fucking
I saw
do
like isn't there like a mural of that shit?
Oh,
I saw some letters on the wall that said some
Enks
shit.
just tattooed one of my boys. No pasa nada on his arm.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna
Porque
call
no
this
pasa
episode.
nada.
We're gonna
No
call
pasa
that.
nada.
We're gonna call the episode that shit. No pasa nada. Hell yeah,
Exactly.
man. Well, that's the last question, man. We're about to wrap it up.
Nah, fuck that. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going, man. Shit, it's up to you.
Come
Tell us,
on,
give
man.
me another story.
That's the whole point about the podcast.
Should we
you
do
know?
a dab?
Give me another story. Shit, I can't. I'll die. I'll die.
No, see, just a quick question. What do you get out of this? Why do you do what you do? Why do you are so interested on the stories of people?
It's to chronicle them, man. It's like, it's recording history, man. You know what I'm saying? So because people, like you said, like we said earlier, there's a bunch of reasons, but one of the main ones, they only see what they see on TV or streaming
Or the cheese may they hear.
and social media. But let's get down to the nitty gritty,
The real.
What makes people tick and all of that. And when you record it, there's a beauty to it, to me, because you get to the actual, like you said, nitty gritty of it.
And you're on the spot.
Yeah, and it's it's just there's been times where I've had guests on, and then after we record, one of their friends, their best friends, will say, "I never even knew that shit about this fool."
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I never even knew that shit about my own best friend. That's crazy that you you guys talked about that. And I'm like, that's the main reason, man. Because we have details about our life, and this is only we're at an hour and 20 minutes and shit or whatever. There's more to it than that, but at the very least, let's record it, chronicle it. It's like having back in the days. You had motherfuckers that had libraries and shit.
Yeah.
This is like a library and shit.
History.
Got over 100 episodes of fucking crazy ass stories. People that make the world go round, which that's why I look at you guys like, what I'm saying, like movers and shakers and shit. So
What I want to say is that ever since I met Enks and became a visionary and became friends with the visionaries and brothers, those guys are my brothers.
yeah,
Here in El Paso, the DJs were all very competitive, and I don't want to talk smack about like our whole community of DJs, but I feel that when we're competing against each other, sometimes we don't inspire each other.
yeah,
And when I met Enks and the visionaries, because they weren't competing against me, because they have their own art, everybody has their own forte. They inspired me.
Yeah.
They inspired me just to be more creative, just to express myself, and not to give a fuck. Just to do what
just
you feel.
create, give it away.
And I want to bring that back to the DJ community. And let's inspire each other. Let's help each other out.
And not be all caught up
And
in
not
the
be all
fucking
like,
competition,
exactly,
shit talking about others.
a mí me vale verga. Todo eso.
It's
Me vale
like-
verga.
Yeah.
I know who I
It's
am.
a waste of time and
I
energy.
know who I
man.
am, and then like when I hear some
If you're-
cheeseman or some bullshit, I just blow it off. Dude.
If you're
Like, whatever.
competing, that means you're worried about what somebody else is.
Yeah, I like to get inspired. I like to be like, wow, that motherfucker,
Yeah.
you killed it right there.
Yeah.
How did he do that?
People
man?
look at other competition. Basically means like you're worried that this other person or entity is a threat to you. Mm-hmm. When you're secure in yourself, there is no competition. It's just you're just existing and doing.
And I think it's healthy though. Competition's healthy. Always.
Yeah, I'm not against it per se, but you have to have a pure mind and heart about it. You know what I mean? When it's about destroying shit, destruction, that's to me is not.
That's a
the different-
problem. That's a problem in El Paso, And
Crabs in a bucket shit.
yeah, it's a small town with a big time mentality, Somos un pueblo,
Yeah.
somos nada. But there's a lot of talent here, but there's not a lot of unity.
That's true, yeah.
There's not a lot of unity. There's not a lot of people actually sharing knowledge, And I like to share everything that I know, because simply, if I teach you everything that I know step by step, you will never do it like I do it.
Exactly. That's true.
You
too.
could do it better, or you could do it worse, but you would never do it like I do it, and that's style.
Yeah.
So if you have a style, you got nothing to worry about.
There's only one you. There's only one, what I'm saying, world peace.
I do want to give a shout out to one of best mentors. And what's funny is that I see his sticker on your computer.
Bobby? Or?
Yeah, Bobby.
I
mean, we're brothers.
Right,
we're LNSC brothers, but that guy, from the beginning when we first met, he, I remember we were like just messing around and spinning at my dad's house, and I had a computer, and he had just finished doing some festival. This was before Neon Desert and all that, and we just bonded, and what he did is he loaded a USB of music on my computer and just said, "Here,
here's this
mess around with that music, see what you feel, see what."
Songs,
and I remember putting that folder, and I was just like, "Wow!" What I liked about Bobby is he was never selfish. He was never trying to hide how to be a badass DJ. And then one time we were hanging out here at my house, and he called in sick to work, and he said, "We're gonna work on you all day," and
nice.
He made me
the dojo.
Yeah, he like I was mixing, and he'd be like, rewind that. Look, this is where you fucked up here. And he taught me fundamentals.
Holy shit, I know that.
And he also taught me how to break the rules.
Damn.
Like there was fundamentals that I had already learned through other DJs, and they're just rules. They're just outro rules and timing and all that.
Time is big.
And Bobby said, "Fuck all that. If you want to mix out of a song, 3 minutes out, mix 3 minutes out. Just be on point. Just
the mix guy.
be on
right?
it.
Yeah.
And don't wait for the fucking song to almost end. If you don't feel it, fucking mix out of it. Just keep the groove going." And the reason why I always tell Bobby that he's my mentor and I give him a shout out is that he was never selfish with the knowledge.
That's what it's about.
And he said, "It's whatever you do with it. I can teach you so much, but you're the guy behind the decks, you know." And I've just noticed with other DJs, they were selfish with their knowledge. Bobby was never selfish.
Yeah, it's dope. And it goes back to it, because he had brought up KRS-One, dude. I know he came recently. I didn't go to that show. Seen him several times, he did a lecture, when he came in like in 05, he performed first and did a lecture after, and I'm trashed. And we went to Camino Real, fucking, he did a conference room in there. Mm-hmm. He spoke for 2 hours, bro. And I can't remember every little thing because I was trashed, but the main thing he said, I even posted about it on Facebook. He just said, "Give it away. Give it away. Like, don't be cut off. No, there's nothing wrong with charging for shit, but there's a beauty in sharing.
Yeah.
Like, don't be threatened about fucking hoarding secrets and shit. Like, who gives a fuck? What's gonna happen?
It's whatever comes out of the speakers and the guy behind the decks. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Whatever it is, in life in general.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, for all the listeners that are tuning in, if I could give some sort of advice,
please.
It would be, uno no es profeta en sus propias tierras.
Mm-hmm.
One is not a prophet in his own land.
Yeah.
And then simply people just try to your own village is not trying to. They don't want you to get out of this village. They don't want you to move on. They don't want you to get out of here. They just want you to get stuck here, So just gotta get out and live and experience different things. You can't get stuck in one thing. That's what I've seen a lot in a lot of El Paso talent, that they are the best.
Big fish, small pond.
In El Paso.
Big fish, small pond, man. I
Yes,
told the hip hop artists that I've used to manage, like, don't get caught up in that shit, dog.
No.
In your mind, you gotta think of who's your favorite MC. Try to do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't think about trying to beat the best, rapper in El Paso. So it's not about competition per se, but just mentally.
Well, it is a competition within yourself.
That's what I'm saying. But you can use things as little tools to help motivate yourself. But don't just put the bar at your city. You know what I'm saying? Go bigger. It's a huge world out there. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta love yourself.
That too.
Before you try to love someone else.
That too.
You might have what it takes to help someone else, but if you're not applying it to yourself, you're not going over.
You gotta live with you till the end of your life. So you gotta fucking love you.
Love
yourself.
Dude, I've talked about this even last night about this shit where it's like, it sounds like because I'm considered an asshole by a lot of people, blah blah blah. But when I tell motherfuckers,
you're a sweetheart, motherfucker.
Nah, he's an asshole.
I'm an asshole. But that's what they say. I don't think I'm an asshole. But I tell motherfuckers, you know what, man? I love you, man. I'll tell my own family, I fucking love you. I love you. I love you. But you know what, man? Don't take it the wrong way. I love myself way more.
Exactly.
Not in a mean way. It's just that I'm no good to nobody else if I don't fucking love myself first. You know what I'm saying?
And a very simple thing.
I love myself way more than anybody else.
A very simple thing that goes a long way is talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Tell yourself, hey man, you look good today. You look good. You look better than yesterday.
I think I do it too
Don't
much.
lie to yourself. Be true to yourself.
Yeah,
that too.
I feel like a lot of people,
Lie.
they run away from their problems. You know,
Lie to girls.
One thing I did learn from George is it's like every problem in life. It's like it's a fire, and whenever that problem comes up, you turn that fire off
Quick.
right there and then. Because if
Or
you
else
don't,
it grows.
it grows and it gets to a point where you can't
Sure.
you can't turn off that fire no more. You know, but you had the time to fix that problem.
Yeah.
That's what we did in Austin. When our shit got stolen, we could have gotten all sad
fire,
and come
yeah.
back home and been like, oh, our trip got ruined. Our shit got
Most people would do
stolen.
that shit.
You know what I told us, dude? No pasa nada, wey.
That's the name of the
Teníamos
episode.
feria. We fucking bought the equipment back, and the next day made the fucking money again.
What's the name of the
Drove
episode?
to San Antonio
That's
and
That's the name of the episode. No
And we're
pasa
going
nada.
back. We have some gigs. We're gonna go back next month. We have some tattoo gigs. We're probably gonna be playing at. We are gonna be playing at Perfect 10. It's a strip club over there.
Oh, shit.
We did that here in El Paso at Dreams. It was really exciting.
that was
I
nice.
saw them pictures.
that was nuts,
Enks
dude.
painted like 8 girls that
Yeah.
day, and I got to DJ, and I had never DJ'd in a strip club environment,
I
and
saw them pictures.
and I was just like, it's a different animal because we got the guy announcing, and the breaks have to be every like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and it was
Yeah.
cool. I like always being put in a challenge where
a different environment. and
we're
shit.
professionals.
Adapt.
We're professionals.
I've always wanted to do
Step
that.
up.
What we did at Dreams, I've always
Hey,
wanted to do
I'm gonna
that.
interrupt real quick. But you guys keep talking. I gotta take a piss. Let's keep going though. Bro,
Yeah.
Is that the only restroom in your room? Or?
No,
Nah,
there's
here,
one right
You
there.
can take the elevator to the third floor.
The elevator by the study?
Yeah.
Go down the hall. But yeah, now we're here.
Now we're here without our facilitator.
Damn, we haven't slept like in the fucking past.
No, I slept all night. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? You're full of shit.
All right, I'm just tripping out on his. I love his stickers. I mean, we got Bobby there from
That's my
LNSC,
Bridget.
and then we got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then what is that? Gorilla pop-ups. What does that mean?
I don't know, and I don't care.
I like that he has Thundercats too, because he's like, I grew up with Thundercats.
You know Calimán?
Caliban, no.
Las profecías de Calimán.
¿Qué es eso?
It used to be a comic.
Oh, okay.
A comic, Calimán. Tenía un dicho que decía sabiduría y paciencia.
Okay.
And I'll show you later. And my dad would collect these comics. Calimán, and this guy era un santo, güey.
Se parecían así los cómics de Capulina.
Ándale.
Como esos así chiquitos.
Around the same time.
See, that's another thing. I'm really into graphic novels. I'm into comics. No, not porno or anything like that. I don't know. But
Why'd you go
like-
porno? I didn't know what graphic novels are. motherfucker.
Well, I mean, you gave me a little smile.
It's like I think I pictured Danielle Steele. And shit.
No. But some of
Kinda
these,
like manga and shit,
no.
or-
Well, I actually used to read manga, and manga's pretty graphic. I mean,
Okay.
you see titties and pussy and
Talking about titties and pussy, man. So when we did that,
great segue.
now look, listen. I had
Linda,
I've always had
Linda.
I've always had this idea of doing a body paint show at a strip club, right? I told George about it. He made it happen within a
In a
week.
day. No. We had an appointment the same day.
The same
'cause
day, he's like,
we were talking and
That's a
he's
good
like,
manager,
"Oh, can we get in a strip club?" And I go, "Hold on, let me call my dude."
and you called the
And I'm
owner.
like, "Hey, can you meet with us right now?" He's all, "Yeah, come by." And we just went that fucking day. And by the next week, we had a show.
And the reason why I wanted to have a show at a strip club, I wanted to make it put more of a spotlight on the dancers, you know, because people go to the strip club to see ass and tits, you know.
Yeah.
They don't appreciate the workout, the
yeah.
art of
They
what
put
it
it-
is to be
Oh,
a
gotta
dancer.
work on that
You don't
shit.
really
Yeah,
want to
you
get to
gotta-
know the girls?
It's
No,
an
but you
art.
gotta work on that shit.
It's
No,
an
fuck
art,
that. It
you
takes
know, so-
fucking training,
It
practice.
is. I respect I
can't just go up there and do
respect.
nothing. You
I
gotta-
respect all the adult entertainers. It's a very hard business.
Fuck yeah.
it's entertainment.
And that's
But
why
they're dancing,
Entertainment,
though.
and a lot of people look at it as a sexual thing and all that. Like it's
It
entertainment.
is, but it's also.
But it's entertainment. It's entertainment. It's
still a craft.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the world's
mentally-
oldest profession, right? Is that what they say?
Even mentally, you have to overcome a lot of shit. Whether
Yeah.
it be actual sex or dancing, because you're in front of people and shit.
Yeah, and I respect them. You know, it's an art, and by painting them, you're just putting more of a highlight of their piece of art. You know,
Yeah.
and
That's dope.
they're doing something good, and they're doing something that they're good at. And soon we're gonna be traveling, and we're gonna be doing shows like this, strip clubs all around the world, and
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
One day-
I mean, yeah,
one day
we're
we're
going
gonna
back
be-
next month.
we're gonna
to
be
Austin.
in
Let's do-
Amsterdam.
Let's do podcast about it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
One day we're gonna be in Amsterdam, or all over the world.
No,
and
we are.
Yeah. No.
We're taking this
Fuck
worldwide.
Fuck one day. It's done. We're doing.
We're doing it.
You got cigarettes there? No.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was gonna ask you, what do you think your homie meant when he left right now? What he said?
I don't know. And I don't give a fuck.
Hey, he looked impacted about that shit, though.
I don't know. He was listening to what I was talking. Maybe
I think it was something good. He was like,
he heard something that he might have never.
Taken the wrong way or something.
I don't know.
¿qué dijo, güey?
No sé.
Ni me
güey.
No, but he
acuerdo.
said it stayed with him. ¿Cómo se dice?
Yeah.
Que se me quedó.
Maybe it was positive.
Well, what you said was something
Like
that.
it fucking.
Yeah.
Because I was asking him, like, hey, give a shout out for your own self. He was ignoring me. He was like, no, like, what you said was like, it fucking hit him. Some shit you said. So, again, when you ask me my question, why
We'll
I
have
do
to
this,
ask him.
I'm just saying, when you ask me why I do this, he never told you that before. I'm saying,
Let
like,
me
that
tell you
shit
the
dope.
funniest story about Alexis, the guy that you're talking about right now.
That's it? Okay.
He, we were at the tattoo convention in Juarez,
Oh, you was there?
and then we went with one of our boys, one of the visionaries, Adrian, and he kidnapped Adrian.
Holy shit.
He kidnapped him all day, and we didn't see Adrian. I thought Adrian was lost. I was like, dude, I haven't seen him all day. Like the whole tattoo commission, and Alexis took him out, and they went
Doing what? Party?
partying.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Partying. They had a great time too.
I should have asked this earlier, but we'll do it now. Who started the Visionaries? What the fuck?
The
I've
vision.
always heard about. I mean, shit.
The
I've seen it
visionaries
in the
came
shows,
from two guys, Edgar and Victor, and then I was the third member. That was 6 years ago
but- Okay.
that we started the collective, and part of being in this collective is there's no we don't jump people in. We don't you are a visionary. You know what I'm saying? Like simply you just gotta put something to benefit the boat.
You get tattooed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you just what can you bring to the table?
Yeah.
How can you make this better? And World Peace came through,
He got Sexton though.
and he's the only DJ. Well, there's another music producer, Rituals, but it just the visionaries we have from MCs to story writers to tattoo
Filmmakers.
artists to architects to dancers to poets
That's
to it's like a circus, and it's a beautiful thing. It's something
Sounds
that
like it.
it's just a big thought that generates inspiration
Yeah.
upon others that look at us and how come I can't be like that? Well, you can be
Yeah,
like
of
that,
course.
It's just
Yes,
all
sir.
it takes is just another visionary to wake your ass up,
Yeah.
I get stoked by most of the guys in the visionaries are amazing artists.
They're the best at what they do. man.
Amazing artists. And then
Okay.
I can't draw for shit.
I could draw a little,
But
not like
I can
that.
draw a fucking watermelon.
Oh, you were talking about getting a watermelon tattoo.
I'm gonna tattoo a watermelon on myself because that's
should,
the only
man.
thing I know how to
That's
draw.
racist, man.
No, man. Me gusta la sandía.
Anyway, let me ask you this then: is because the one thing that's again, I'm getting to know you through this shit. I've always admired motherfuckers. Of course, we're on the border and shit, but you're fucking pretty articulate. Obviously, Spanish, English. You know what I'm saying?
Valemos por dos.
That shit's dope. How did that happen? Because I know motherfuckers that have lived here forever, but they're from Mexico and their English is
Because
still
we actually
You work at it? How does that work?
we actually
When-
grew up in Juarez and here in both
know it,
places.
but I know
There's people
motherfuckers
that
that
just
have
grew up
done
here
that.
that never been to Juarez.
No, but I know people have done both, and they still a little choppy
También
with it.
pendejo.
That's actually
Is that a refusal? Is it because of a pride that they don't want to learn the shit, or they're lazy? Because you're pretty articulate in both.
that's one of the reasons
You gotta
that
be proud.
that I actually became an artist. Because when I came to the States, I went to school. I was not good with English, and
That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't even communicate myself with words. I felt like I didn't have nothing to prove with words. You know, I didn't have the skill.
Yeah.
But I remember this story when I was in high school, and I would always hate speech class.
Yeah.
All right, go up to a class and talk about your thing, you know. And I told the professor, you know what? I can't explain myself with words. Can I just draw on the chalkboard?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Can I draw what I feel?
Dope.
Can I draw what I feel inside? And that was more of a people actually understood me from my visuals. So yeah, art was always something that it's a language, you know, just like music, just like whatever, you know. It's just necessarily the words are not my forte.
Yeah.
I'm not the type of dude to be doing podcasts, for example. You know?
But you speak well, man.
Well, now I do, you know, but it made me who I am now. You know, I had to learn the hard way, and
How'd you learn? Did you make an effort to fucking learn shit?
I didn't do an effort. It was more natural than anything, you know.
Sink or swim?
It just,
But you were like a sponge, though. It seems like
yeah. I've always been a sponge.
some people are like, nah, I don't want to learn. They take pride in not learning shit. I'm like, okay, that's.
I always look out for the quietest guy in the room.
All right.
You know, that's something that I've always taken in. You know, just lay back and study your surroundings and know who you're dealing with. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been someone to talk a lot.
Oh yeah, man. Shit. Yeah, we got some good time, man. I'm
All right.
pushing on 2 hours. Any plugs? Any thank yous? Any shout outs? Any
Plugs to fucking LNSC, the best fucking underground crew here in El Paso. Late Night Social Club.
Hell yeah.
10 years and going. Still
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Shouts
bringing
to
the best
Joe.
underground shows to town. Bringing stuff that people would never even be exposed to unless LNSC was bringing it to town.
True.
Like that's big. That's
Fuck,
big
it's
for me.
huge.
Being part of them is big to me.
People don't realize how big that is, though.
No, we're introducing people like to
Fucking
acts and stuff. that they would have
World-renowned.
world-renowned DJs.
DJs, dog.
Yeah, and then being around those people when they play and just hanging out with them and then just hearing their story.
Yeah.
It's inspiration in itself. Like
Oh,
Enks got to meet Vatos Locos this year, and I think that's Lee Burridge was one of the most inspirational guys you met. Probably like
Yeah.
we were talking with him, and he just was just
Boom.
on point about just life and just like
Some real
just
shit.
real shit, man.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Anything else you want the listeners to know, or anything else you want to say, man, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, before we wrap it up, don't let nothing that we just talked about decide or make something out of this, you know.
Yeah.
We're nothing. You know, we're just
Take it for what it is.
Yeah,
We're just being
we're
real.
just take yourself in a different manner, you know. Take yourself like if you had a kid and it's you, see it upon like that, you know. Just work on yourself. Don't let people fucking get you down.
Don't let people tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Do whatever the
Every
fuck
day,
you want.
every day's a vacation when you like your occupation.
Yeah. I know you're a
for
rapper
sure,
too, dog.
For sure.
Shit,
All right, this is Enks tuning out.
Hell yeah. This is Sweet Jesus Radio. Thank you for playing. Boom.
World peace out.
Sweet Jesus Radio.